Our second series of the night is an absolute treat. This one should be a big game, hopefully. We've got rapha, of course, going up against dramiS. Dan, two North American talents through and through.
Definitely. I mean, we know what rapha brings to the table. But dramiS is someone that obviously had a very hit and miss last stage, but then went into the finals and just absolutely blew pretty much the Europeans a new one. He came out and just really dominated, and he's been one of my favorite players from the North American scene for quite a while. I think he has such a unique and distinct style. I love people who play aggressive, that have confidence in their capabilities. I don't want to put him in the same bracket as Sparty because they're not similar in that way, but he is very hot and cold. And if he doesn't hit his clutch moments, quite like we discussed about Sparty, that's when we see him dropping off. And last season, he was putting in strong performances and the results weren't backing it up. Whereas so far, seems to be paying a bit more dividends.
No, yeah, I think he's been looking good. I think obviously finals for him was probably a big turning point in terms of knowing that he has so much self-worth and he's so damn good at the game. And since that point, it feels like we've seen a lot more of that on the regular, which is really nice to see. Because I think he's always had it. He's always had good showmanship inside of the server. Really down-to-earth player as well. And that's one of the qualities that you need as a pro, especially in Quake, right? You hold yourself to accountable. There's no one else. It is just you in a one-on-one. You have to be able to learn from your mistakes. And I think we've seen that in droves from dramiS.
100%, and it's actually a really valid point. And that's something from my experience of talking to him and witnessing his progression. He's someone that doesn't seem to have the, I was going to say mental challenge, but that's not exactly what I mean. He doesn't suffer from a mental perspective in the game. He seems to be quite level-headed. He doesn't let either pressure get to him or be his performances. He has faith in his strategy and what he wants to do, and he commits to it. And then having that stability in terms of not tiltability, basically, is such a paramount quality in a game like Quake, where it can just make or break you. I think less so in a team-based environment, because you got other players that can make up for you if you're not playing well. But if you have an off day in Quake, it's done. So that's a really big ingredient, and I think if there's anyone to look up to, it's going to be rapha. I don't think I've ever seen him tilt, and that's pretty much his biggest strength. He's gone obviously to dominate the scene, but now he can't bleed. So what does that mean for everyone else?
This is true, right? Has that set a precedent where now potentially some players that might have been held back by a bit of a mental block, thinking that maybe they can't best him, now seeing the results that he is beatable in a regular season, he has dropped a map, might light a fire under some of these players. And I think if any one of them was able to do it as well, dramiS would be one of the names that could potentially go on to steal on a result from him. We'll see how that goes. Of course, though, rapha himself, the man that is up on your screens. I mean, at this point, he has to have a separate room in his house just for all of his accolades and trophies, Dan, because he physically can't fit them in his bedroom anymore.
Yeah, some big beefy belts, and I'm sure he wants more. But I think the question is, and knowing rapha for who he is, I would actually be a bit more afraid going as rapha after he's dropped a map than before, because it's going to light a fire under his ass now, because he's not happy with anything except the best, and he didn't show his best in recent weeks and has looked a bit more vulnerable than we've ever seen him pretty much in the last 2 years. So if I'd be a bit worried if I was dramiS going into this encounter just based off that.
True. Well, let's have a look at the veto, see if there's anything in there that might give us more of a cleaner cut idea of potential gaps in this series. Oh, Dan. Oh, all right. First and foremost, this veto to me, it smells succulent. It smells delicious. This is like a Sunday roast. Exile at the start, deep embrace for the middle filling, and then Veil of Nath to close us out as a delicious dessert. Could we ask for anything more?
It's like a trifle with all the layers going on here.
An onion.
Interesting, we have Exile and the same champion pick. So we know what we've seen already out of these two champions today. Let's see what the difference in playstyle is coming out from the Americans. I expect to see a bit more refinement coming because rapha has picked it. So from a strategy point of view, really interested to analyze how he plays that map. Deep Embrace, so that's going to be fun. And we know how strong Keel can be on that map. Doom isn't always the most popular pick on there. Some other things going on. It's interesting to see why he's picked Doom. Something like a Ranger has similar utility, but has the Orb as well. And then finally, Veil. I don't know, man. Like, everyone hates on me for saying Scale Bearer is a good pick. Rapha loses to a Scale Bearer, and then he picks a bloody Scale Bearer. So I'm just going to mute DJ Wheat when he comes into the chat, because I'm done with him giving me his half-assed amateur opinions on what is probably the best champion in the game.
ZSX, you were so right. He's just such a good champion. I should have said it from the start. Cheers, Wheat. Thanks for dropping by for that quick segment. I mean, honestly, it makes sense, Dan. It just adds up. Scale Bearer gang, get out there. Scale gang, baby.
Raise your dongers in the chat for the scale, because it's going to be a beefy account. So it's always fun to see heavy versus heavy. Then we've got Unveil as well, which is just an equally fun map to watch when you've got such carnage. So I don't expect Raph to get a full stranglehold there. I think having the Sorlag gives dramiS a lot of versatility to just keep running at his opponent. And so either way, this could be a really fun series.
This is going to be sick. All three of the maps look fun. We've got two very, very quality players here. Players that going into this as well have an awful lot to prove now. I think as well, when we spoke to Rapha back in week 1, right, he said that he was trying to take a little bit of a back burner in terms of not straining himself too much with practice. Could have been the reason why he's dropped a map. You think about it now, coming straight back in, that's got to make him realize, all right, I can't even afford to take a little bit of time to myself. Need to go straight back into the old regimen. This is now your next test. Fresh start up against dramiS, a player that's been going from strength to strength, coming in on the map that he was a bit of an advocate for as well, right? Rapha was saying that he likes the fact Exiles come into the pool. Let's see if he can prove that, Dan.
Let's see. If there's anyone that can prove it, it will be him. He's someone that will put in the hours, not only playing, but studying. And so a lot of people will lean on him for his innovation. And so seeing him play a map like Exile, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of professional eyes on this as well, as much as ours. So I am really intrigued to see how he plays it. And having the Anarchy shows that Spotty and Base are on the right lines in terms of thinking how to play this.
And it's really good to see as well that you are self-aware and realise that you yourself are not a professional, Dan.
No, I am not, but I am smarter than the average viewer, so I will still have the same level of analytical thought going into it.
Yes, that's right. He did invest in GameStop. Right then, here we go. Rapha versus dramiS. Exile to kick us off. This is going to be tasty. Let's see if we'll have any of the similarities from the map that we just saw with Sparty versus Base, because that was aggressive. Already, we're seeing rails being transferred between the two of them. That was actually a pretty nice angle from dramiS, Dan, straight through the grate.
It was a good start indeed. Weakening up his opponent. dramiS now with a little bit of a stack advantage, nothing to shout home about. Much slower pace start than we saw from the previous game as well. Both taking their time and willing to exchange items. Nice catch out of the TP. Actually misses both missing their shots though. It's something we didn't see earlier today. And hyper aggressive this time as they're going for a big encounter. No one seems to be really connecting, but it is Rapha that comes out on top, largely because of that inject.
Oh my. Shotgun pulled out. dramiS barely clutching onto life. But he couldn't. He's popped into a coffin, and he's now 6 feet under. Blunders here so far to start off the map. But Rapha doing what he does best. Looking a little bit lethal. Again, peering over the top rope. Trying to hold down the high ground. He's got item control. A couple of peeks here and there. Oh, that rail is so good. The drop down, the timing of it all. Hits a follow-up as well and lands himself on the ledge. Hello, Rapha.
Hello indeed, that's a nice follow-up from dramiS, but the inject is there once again. Something we always talk about with Rapha is how efficient he can play with his stack. He's willing to throw his stack away when he knows he's got resources to fall back on. So again, it wasn't a concern for him to eat that rail. In fact, it actually was almost enticing dramiS to be out in the open a bit more than he was. He does steal away this Mega and uses the grapple to get away for now, but he eats a fair amount of damage and he actually looks a little bit lost trying to get out of there as well.
Oof. Nearly connecting onto him with the rocket as he came around the corner. Baiting him out here quite nicely as well. Doesn't overstep the mark. Realising, of course, Stack in a little bit of a risky position, so just plays it safe. 3 frags up, standard Rapha on display. Never going overly aggressive. If he doesn't feel 100% confident, he is going to get the kill. dramiS!
Okay.
Oh, I mean, lovely moves, Dan, but it's all for now.
Yeah, breaking moves on the dance floor, but he's alone out there and looks a little bit awkward as Rapha does sweep up another frag and another frag. And if I'm brutally honest, at the moment, dramiS looks a little bit lost on how to play this map on the defense. If he can get a couple of, coming out the TP, meeting Rapha once again. If he can get a frag though and get some items, we might see a wholly different player as brutally honest, it's the hardest part of the game, how to play defensive. And so learning a map is always kind of one of the last things you get to grips with. But at the moment, he doesn't even look likely to be able to pull out a frag.
All right now, dramiS certainly looks holy. A lot of bullets have gone through him. So he needs to try and get himself back in the game, but it's not working out yet. rapha on a spree. Really similar to what we saw, of course, back with Sparty Base, using the high ground, playing very aggressive, peak after peak, knows all the angles so well. It's a bit awkward.
It
like
is a little
ships in a night, Dan. Oh.
It's like watching two 13-year-olds on a date because it's just no one really knows what move to make.
Nice.
dramiS is just just skirting out. He's really early.
Oh, dramiS. He's low, but he's at least up high in a good elevated angle, so he can get away using the Athena to good use. Gets himself out of there to try and stay alive. Few shots whizzing by, trying to land onto him. Appears over the ledge, but it's not looking too good just yet for dramiS to get back into the game. Only beneficial factor is he is getting items. Does go leaping up. Good tag from the rail as well. Bringing rapha down. His stack finally starting to crumble away a little bit. He's got him trapped in a corner. The tri-bolt spam goes out. There's no frag. Again, rapha still just burning so much time off the clock throughout all of this. dramiS needs to do something, and it looks like, if anything, he's going to be the one to go down off the back of the way this has gone. But he hits the rail, Dan.
He needs to make it count, though, in terms of control, because at the moment he's doing a decent amount of damage here and there, but the follow-up in terms of strategy and positioning isn't really getting him anywhere. He does get the frag, but he didn't get the item, and rapha is able to swoop around the map, get the weapons he needs for this next engagement. dramiS is very, very early for this heavy. But he will be able to win it as rapha doesn't connect with the necessary rail.
5-minute warning.
Grabbing himself with a grapple, going flying for the teleporter. Good rail. rapha low. Ooh, you could see he was hungering for that one as well. Really hoping he'd be able to get the follow-off shot off. Chases him. So ready. Buying his time for so long. Wanted to make sure that shot counted rather than missing it, but in the end he gets nothing for his troubles. rapha, still 7 frags up, still barely staying alive. Being pounded bit by bit. Another 90 comes back in favor of dramiS. That's the items being picked up as well, but he's got to be quick. Needs to finally execute him. Knows where he's coming from. Misses on the rail, tries to chase with the rocket, can't quite catch it. Oh. This game of cat and mouse is so awkward.
Yeah, dramiS is creating angles, but not hitting absolutely anything.
Oh no!
And they force on the map for dramiS. All of that hard work for naught as he just gives up the map and will give up another frag here as rapha's in the right place to really push the advantage. Heavy's up as well. Yeah, unfortunately for dramiS, you can definitely see the experience differential on this map.
Yeah. Scary stuff, man. rapha feels like he's put so much time into exile. You can see just the way he moves around the map. Looks like he knows it already like the back of his palm. Just so easy for him to navigate. Some of the angles as well have been really crisp. Just avoiding everything, making it awkward for dramiS. He chases and he tries his best, but the movement, that 1% difference, is still a huge factor in a game like Quake. And it's just giving rapha a really big edge. This is a nice encounter potentially, but the shotgun turning on dramiS. Again, he goes down. 12-0 here off the back of the suicide that came through from dramiS.
Yeah, I mean, the positive out of that engagement is that he did get the heavy, but I mean, the problem for dramiS at the moment is that his timing isn't even there. You can see he's trying to make a move for the mega, but it's not even up. He'll make every time he makes through the heavy, it's not up. So you have to start, if you don't know the map, you have to just play around the basics at the very, very least. Oh, that's
shot
not
after
the move.
shot. Yeah, dramiS. I suppose at that point he felt like he just had to do something, right? You're 14 frags down. You've got to just go. Throw all of the normal style of Quake out the window at this point. This is going to turn into effectively just rapha piling up bodies like it's some kind of feng shui type situation. So dramiS needs to get aggro. He has to try and change the pace of the game. Oh man, he's playing Instagib.
He's playing crisp, that's for sure. dramiS once again trying to go in aggressive, trying to get past his opponent, but like a brick wall, rapha refuses to move, and it's not been a good game for dramiS. Let's just say that. Let's put this one to the side and concentrate on maps 2 and 3.
Yeah. It does feel like Exile at this point is closed as a chapter. Scary thing is, though, as well, right? What transitions over here is the fact that, oh no, please, not again. I thought he was gone.
I've got to raise the question as to why he didn't ban it. Because if you're really this uncomfortable on the map, you should be banning it.
Here, let me pose you this, though. Think about it. How many scrims do you feel like dramiS has gone into where he's had really quality close games on Exile, but then you come up against rapha and it just feels like nothing works?
This is also a fair point. I think there was some situations for me where you look at it and be like, yeah, he really just doesn't understand the map mechanics that well yet. But you're right, like someone of his caliber probably can take this map against 99% of the players he plays, particularly if it's just a ranked game. I think if you're going up in a scrim against other people in the QPL, I would have expected a slightly more efficient performance if he was adept at it. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously a map rapha is now entirely comfortable on already, so you don't discredit rapha at all, obviously.
No, yeah, absolutely. He's looking really good in it. Obviously, you can see just by the scoreline the way it's bloating so ridiculously. 23 frags. dramiS wanting to at least get something going for himself here. The fast flicks from rapha. He's staying alive. He doesn't want to give one up. He's playing it out, even though the game's basically over. He's playing his heart out. And of course, the one kill that he gets grapples him, throttles him, getting one kill on the board. But I think that is going to be the end. 24-1 on Exile. All right, maybe not. 24-2.
I mean, just to put into context how proficient rapha is on this map, statistically, in terms of just pure damage output, that was almost identical to the base Sparty damage. In terms, it was 5.5k to 3.5k. And that was a 12 to 11 win for Sparty on the 3.5k. So it just shows you that, again, the raw control and decision-making that rapha has to make every single bullet count, every movement count. And yeah, at the same time, unfortunately, dramiS is, he's not at the level where he can compete with rapha on this map just yet.
No, we also got the rapha giggle there, like an evil genius, as his plans come to fruition. Dan, very proud of himself. It looked good. It was quite funny. But yeah, no, you're right, man. Like he's obviously just pulled out all the stops, and obviously it makes a lot of sense as well when you look at the stats like that. Because how many times did we see him with what 15, 10 stack maybe, where he was so close to finally being fragged out, and he was just able to navigate around the map so flawlessly that dramiS couldn't catch up with him.
Yeah, I mean, that was nine and a half minutes out of the 10 minutes, pretty much. Oh, look at that. I love the backdrop with the old QuakeCon prize money. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's got drip.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's a... Oh, dear, there's the suicide. It's a let's just put that map behind miss, practice it a bit more before I allow someone else to pick it against me and move on type of encounter. I think the more worrying thing was that even mechanically, he wasn't hitting as much as we would normally expect him to hit. Again, you would put down at least part of that to the fact he wasn't comfortable with the angles on the map, and again, as you said, the speed that rapha was playing with as well.
Yeah, very fast, very aggressive. Standard rapha stuff when it came to control. Aim was there, but just navigation, I think, was the big factor. And what's scary is as well is normally when we talk about movement, dramiS is a player that's up to par with the best, right? Like, his movement's really good. That's always been one of the caveats we've spoken about throughout every season in the QPL, I'd say, Dan.
It was, but rapha didn't really allow him to use it. I mean, we saw him trying to use the grapples to get on items, but rapha, he made sure he used Anarchy to the full potential, really, and that he was closing the gap on dramiS so consistently and forcing dramiS into some really uncomfortable positions in terms of using that grapple, forcing it defensively as much as anything. So dramiS just wasn't able to play a game of Quake there. He got bullied from start to finish.
Yeah. Unfortunate stuff, but that is the way the first map goes. A pounding coming out from rapha. More to go, though, of course, in the rest of this series. Look like hopefully it should be a bit closer. The next two maps were just as tantalizing. The full spread here looked really enjoyable. And now, of course, we move on to the sequel, Deep Embrace. In terms of the picks, this is one that was a little bit of an eyebrow raiser on your part, right? We had the Doom coming out from rapha, I believe.
We did. I think it's a good pick on this map. Obviously, the double jump is always incredibly useful, particularly over on the heavy area. It's got a lot of utility, but I think it's got, for me anyway, less utility than some other picks you could have taken up. I mean, the Ranger is obviously one that comes to mind for me, in that the orb, particularly with the burst damage on the keel as well, has a lot of flexibility and there's some great angles to use the orb. So, just want to see why rapha picked it as much as anything.
We'll find out. We'll see if it will be a pick that's going to look good for him, on what the case is going to be once we get into this one. Deep Embrace is our second map. At the moment, rapha leads one map up, of course, from the absolute pounding that went down on Exile. As we get into the second, let's see how this is going to go. Straight in. Only damage coming out from rapha, making his presence felt with that HMG. A little bit of tri-bolt spam as well to test the waters. Finally, a game where we haven't seen the opening frag go down in the opening couple of seconds. But, of course, there's still plenty of time for this one to get outrageous, Dan.
There is indeed. But rapha will be a little bit more careful than he was on the previous game, given that he's going up against a keel. Grenades are a pain. The stack is a pain. And dramiS will inherently be a lot more comfortable on this map than the previous. And that's a great start from dramiS, whittling down rapha's stack.
Ooh. I like the transition there. The smooth lock on with the LG. It's a good amount of damage. They're both trying to chip away at one another. The rocket could be a bit of a difference maker, though. A nice tag from the 40 straight back onto the LG, but rapha coming off far worse for wear. He was down to 28 stack. Had to pick himself up one of the lights to at least keep himself alive. And they're both in a similar position. Landing your shots is now pivotal. Timing as well. 1 second until the heavy was up, but dramiS is done for, and rapha gets the first kill.
That frag, the perfect example of how rapha thinks 5 steps ahead. You said he was down to 28 stacks and kept worse for wear. He wasn't, because he knew he had positioning on the light armor and the health, and so he used that, backs up, restocked, and got in position to kill dramiS before the heavy. So if you're trying to learn Quake, that's how you think 5 steps ahead.
That forward thinking has not stopped. The big brain plays from rapha, as he goes on to get himself another kill here. 2-0 up at this point. dramiS, lucky to have the sustainability to actually tank his way through with that one, but it's quickly closed out, as there's now 3 on the board here to start off Deep Embrace. He's the one that is getting out there, doing the damage at the minute. So smooth with the LG as well. rapha's aim looking really crisp tonight, Dan.
It is, and this is the time where it becomes really, really worrying for dramiS, because rapha's now just going to be like a sponge, absorbing the damage just to get onto the items. But he actually misplays that one and allows the big man up onto the heavy. dramiS now back-to-back rails. If he hits anything else, rapha will be dying, but rapha comes up with a rail of his own. They're both incredibly low, and he doesn't get the mega.
Oh man, the back and forth. The way it was choreographed, it was like a fight scene from the raid. It just didn't stop. So much action, so many near twists. And finally, a turn up for the books for dramiS, as he gets 1 frag back in the game with a shotgun and shuts down rapha, looking for a little bit more as well. Lovely rail. Takes one back, unfortunately, to try and at least seal the deal and keep them in close nick. They're both green around the gills. He's got to be careful. Weaving his way back over towards the Mega. It's up in 2 seconds. This is deja vu of the fight that we just saw previously, but he goes for the wide swing. Hits the shot. Sees him go through the teleporter as well. If he landed the headshot, it would have been the frag. Couldn't quite hit it, but at least gets himself the major item. Has the Mega to play with, and there's the follow-up.
Nice, but rapha at the same time did a fair amount of damage, whittling down that stack, and that's the most important thing against Aquila, to try and keep that stack in check. The big rocket jump up, but rapha retaliates with a big rocket of his own. Manages to get away and maintains the high ground position. Just chipping away at the big man, and dramiS will have to retreat as he's taken a little bit of a pounding in the last 30 seconds.
This is good to see, though. I was worried it would be a similar sort of affair of what we had back on XR, where dramiS wouldn't show his true potential, but now we're seeing a little bit more of it. He was really good on Deep Embrace throughout the entirety of the bracket play back at the stage finals. Here, though, it seems like it could be his final breath for this life as he's had his face punched in. Rapha, the certified lip remover, goes in like a surgeon and busts his face off.
Oh, it feels good to have a berserk frag. He's caught dramiS out from behind as well. Keel getting picked apart here. He jumps down, but he jumps onto the jump pad, and that's not what you want to see. So caught off the spawn. Pretty much rapha's favourite move. Also stops him from picking up the heavy. You can see the game plan of the Doom coming to fruition here. It's just the tempo he can set.
Yeah, using the double jump for the movement. It's giving him a lot of smart angles to take fights from. dramiS as well. Goes in, hell in a cell there towards the middle of the map. Trying to force the issue, but gets nothing for it. No return on that investment. That is going to be rough. Peek out with a rail as well. At least gets himself a mega, but if you look at his stack, you're not going to even remember that he just did. And rapha, he's still got the angles to play with. Some cheeky positions with the rocket! Oh, the timing on it, Daniel! That was brilliant!
Stop it, Shane.
Shane! Not acceptable. This man has a gigantic pocket watch and he used it to perfection. Call him Lord Kronos with the way he's playing this one. He's altering time, Dan.
He is, and it's really dire straits for dramiS as he's getting molested by rapha every single turn. That's a big rocket though. He will be able to win himself the heavy because rapha will have to retreat, but no! He's actually he nearly got it. Nearly got it. Could this be the turning point though? He gets a clean item for the first time pretty much all game. Pushing aggressively here with the rockets. rapha's just trying to do any damage he can. He knows he's got frags to spare.
Rail's going out. A couple tags here and there. He's 6 frags down. He's got 4 minutes to start revving his engine. Get himself back in the game. Ooh, charges into him. Good tag. Actually finds the flick with the rail as well. But unfortunately, roll back the years, it's like they're on the schoolyard trading Pokemon cards because they're trading, Dan. Both of them go down. 11-5. This favours rapha. 6 minutes and 30 seconds have gone by as well, so he's still in the driving seat.
Trade at this stage will always favour rapha because he's the one with the stack. I mean, with the lead, should I say? Sorry. And he was the one that was on the defense for that engagement. He's got position up on the heavy, but there is a little bit of time for dramiS to reposition. Nice rocket jump to rail combo. The grenades come through, but nothing hits. That one does. What the hell? If he gets the heavy, that's mission complete, and rapha can retreat.
Rapha, he can buy time. He can just chill out, take in the nice sea air, and reinvigorate himself before he has to get back into the next forced fight. Rockets going out, none of them landing. Mega spawned in as well. It's close towards dramiS. He's able to pick it up. And they're probably going to have to trade the items here. We've got about 4 seconds split between the both of them. dramiS is quick on his feet, though. If he gets back over there, it could at least be a tight engagement. rapha's caught wind of him. Hears him on the audio cue. Turns with the LG. A couple of tags. That's all they were. Nothing really favourable for him. At this point, he's really in the dirt.
Yeah, but the thought process is there. It was a really good move. Just the execution not entirely clean. Big combo. That's nice. And dramiS is still very much in this game. Time is obviously not on his side, but there is enough time on a map like Deep Embrace to forge a comeback. There can be no slip-ups though. You can see the pressure from rapha. He's got to keep on top of that stack. He cannot let Keel get away, and somehow rapha's won himself control, won himself an item, and that doesn't spell GG just yet, but it really pushes it to the limit.
It does. It keeps things in close nick at least. Oh, dramiS, lucky to be alive. Looking like a ballerina as he's tried to dance his way around these rails. But eventually they land, and he'll be taken out. The judge is not going to be too happy with that one. Judging by rapha's style of play, though, he's looking to continue on and get this scoreline even bigger. Actually could win out on this fight as well. They go mano a mano in the middle of the map, Dan. A brawl in the middle of the cell. And the LG, it favours rapha.
Yeah, the Zoom LG was not working. He just completely choked that one, didn't hit anything. He's going to go. He's going to keep going.
Bob! Bare knuckle boxing match. He's giving it. There won't be 9 rounds if this carries on. As all we're going to see is dramiS frown at the end of this. 14-7. Half as many kills on Deep Embrace. Something's got to change, and he just doesn't have the time for it. The best he could possibly hope for is to at least get himself a closer scoreline before we move on to Vale. Oh, rapha, he's still giving it his all. Frag after frag being found, just keeping on going. This is despicable.
This is over. 9 frags of difference so far, and it's been a clinic. You know, you see a lot of people struggle against Keel because they don't have the same exceptional decision making of rapha. I mean, every time we said, oh, this is dramiS' opportunity to make a comeback, rapha's in his face doing damage, even if it's just with the machine gun. He's got the position, he's got the decision, and he's there, and dramiS is once again on the back foot. I can tell you now, this map would have been an absolute hell for dramiS because he's constantly being pestered by rapha. And the big stack of Keel didn't really have a place. He could never play around it. So full credit to rapha, shows why he picked Doom. I've never seen 2 berserk kills in the QPL for quite a while either.
No, I mean the back-to-back, just
particularly 3 chop shots as well.
Man, crazy. Really was quite a an interesting game. I suppose lots of weird nuances to it. Played quite nicely from both of them at times, but all in all, rapha just showing off there, Dan. So I think that's been the sentiment throughout the series.
It does indeed. Can I just say, you kind of look like a young Dumbledore.
Young Dumbledore?
Yeah. I can see it. A young Dumbledore from Shoreditch, a bit of a hipster.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, Dan, if there's anyone that's put a spell on me, it's probably you.
Oh, I like it. That's a good turnaround.
There you go. I'm here all day. You can hire me for birthdays and parties. Please contact me. I need work.
Give this man a raise, but give rapha a raise, because once again he's showing us a clinic. Ever since he lost the map, he's never looked back, and 2 maps in a row he's looked incredibly commanding. We said, is dramiS going to be putting up a bit of a fight, and the answer is no, unfortunately. I mean, there were moments of greatness for sure in that map, but again, the decision making and the quick feet of rapha throughout just constantly kept dramiS on the back foot.
God damn. Yeah. All in all, I think rapha's really just playing a quality series, as per usual, right? Same sort of thing that we expect. dramiS had some good moments again. Just not as up to par as the best level of dramiS that we've seen. Because he really does have another level. Sometimes he goes Super Saiyan. He does just pop off. We didn't see it as much here. I think a lot of that goes down to the fact that he wasn't really allowed to, though. He was bullied throughout a lot of that map by rapha.
No, that's exactly it. He was on the back foot. The tempo that rapha was setting was just so incredibly high, and it's a really simple game plan against a Keel, is that even if you're on the back foot, you need to try and make some emphasis to take up a strong defensive position and deal damage. And again, that frag where dramiS got a nice clean frag, tried to pick up the Mega was a perfect example. rapha spawned, really just charged it in with a random machine gun and dealt 250 damage, and then once again dramiS was on the run.
Yeah. Also, another one of the points here as well, in terms of the LG usage, I think there was quite a few fights where rapha was just a little bit faster in terms of pulling that LG out and hitting so many more connections with it. Just really, really smooth. Yeah. We had the one-on-one, right, where obviously dramiS goes in with the advantage in stack, Dan, and lost out on it just from not being able to get the hits off as quickly with the LG. Little things like that in what is otherwise a game that's already got so much weight on his shoulders probably were quite tilting.
Yeah, and there were some questionable players as well. There were 3 or 4 frags in the early game where he was just almost jumping into rapha's LG without a real purpose, or maybe where it's just rapha double backing, but it's a situation where you should expect someone to double back. And as you say, moments where we had that one-on-one engagement and he just hit nothing relative to rapha, just you can't afford to make those mistakes against anyone in the QPL, let alone the best player in the QPL.
Yeah. Very, very true. We'll set our focus onto what is next then. Obviously, the bookend for this series, the third and final map that it's building up to, something that we still seem to be having an awful lot of fun with. Bit of Vale, Dan. What do you think about this one? As we do get to see the Scaly Boy himself.
I think it's be a bit more carnage. This time they're both on heavy champions. We've seen that as soon as you pick a heavy, it instantly levels the playing field. I think if dramiS had picked anyone else except a Keel on the last map, he would have been in a lot of trouble. And so having that fullback of the stack gives you more versatility, more license to make mistakes, and so we're going to see a bit of carnage. But we know how powerful Scale is. But when you give it in the hands of rapha, he can really charge you down. There's some tight corridors on Vale, so he can really get in the face. And again, don't forget how quick the champion can move as well. So I expect to see a bit of a brawl, fairly high scoring encounter, but some aggressive plays from both of them.
Yeah, and then of course, if Lethal was here, it'd say that the opponent that we see coming out from dramiS is Snorlag.
Snail Bearer versus Snorlag. He's gone.
Stop it. Stop it. Second series, calm it down. Storlag, of course, Dan. The big reptile lady on the other side going head to head. I can't. It's not acceptable behaviour. You can't be making me snort on broadcast. I don't like it. All right?
Sorry.
I'm a professor, as you can see. And this is my class, Daniel, and I don't appreciate you derailing my lessons.
Oh, dear Lord. I'm excited to see dramiS play Storlag. It's one of his staple champions. We saw him when he first came on the scene, really using this to great effect. And he plays so well when he can play at speed. So as much as Keel is great because of the stack, he doesn't have that speed, whereas Storlag gives him that additional speed, which really comes into great effect. So this is the map I'm expecting him to come back and show us who he really is.
Right then. We're in. rapha versus dramiS. Between the... I can hear you laughing in the background. Stop it now. rapha going in for the early peak. Looking to try and find himself a little bit of damage to open this one up. Up against dramiS. I'm really trying quite hard to compose myself, Dan. And it's really off-putting. 30 seconds in, let's see where this game is going to go. As they do fight over control heavy early on, it looks like dramiS has been able to get the upper hand. Spits going everywhere. There's the first frag. Finally, dramiS coming in with the opening pick into the game. This is a good way to set the pace and at least start things off with the right big foot forward.
Exactly what we wanted to see. Aggression coming out, full use of the abilities, full use of the speed. If he can keep that tempo up, that's where it's going to come to a lot of fruition. But at the same time, we know how powerful rapha is anyway. He's also got a scale bearer with a huge stack of his own to fall back on. And you can't let him get free items. So that's great play by dramiS to do any sort of damage. If he can get this mega, that's a perfect start to this game. And big rockets to follow up. 2-0 Lizard.
My, oh my. From Bearded Dragon to Godzilla in the space of 1 minute and 20 seconds. Although he's low, goes down, nailed up against the wall like a poster, as rapha is straight back into action here. 70 stack to work with, good moves! The reaction there, the rocket to impact into the face, lock her in place, and stop that lizard from getting any moves into the game. This is huge. Big turnaround from rapha already, and it goes from being on the back foot by 2 kills to being in the advantage by 1 in what, the space of 30 seconds, Dan?
Yeah, that spiraled out of control so incredibly quickly. We saw a little smirk from rapha as well, as that turnaround was instant, yeah. He's racking up a frag every 5 seconds, it feels like, as he's now on. Ooh, big rocket though, double back, nice. Both relatively weak, but they know it's such a big item, and that's so incredibly risky when your opponent's got a lightning gun and it doesn't work out for dramiS. It's already down by 3. Oh. Will it be 4? It is!
Oh no!
It's gonna tick out. No.
All right, at least he gets 1 kill back in. rapha, man, he's run him over. It's like Wile E. Coyote versus Roadrunner. He's just left him flattened by a steamroller, Dan. dramiS, at this point, he's looking 2D. The only benefit is you wouldn't see him coming from a side-on angle. Nearly 3 minutes
living up to the predictions of a fast-paced, aggressive encounter. We're already 6-4, less than 3 minutes into the game. This is a spicy affair.
It is. It's up there. It's on the top of the Scoville scales. This one is a bit of a mouth burner. dramiS realising he actually has the chance to at least burn his way through rapha here, though. And he does. Goes in, cuts his way through him with the LG, and puts it back into entirely manageable of a position. 1 frag difference, spit flying everywhere, gobs all over the gaff, and gets himself back up on the elevated angle. rapha piecing out, trying to run away, and still taking the odd peek here and there. And this really is peak times for dramiS. So low, 50 HP, flattened again!
There's nothing more scary in the game of Quake Champions than hearing the hooves coming and you know what's going to hit you in a second. Nothing he can do. Great decision making, but this, in all truth, is a really precarious situation for dramiS right now. You've got a fully stacked rapha, you've got a big split on the major items. He's taking the lights away from you as well. He needs to be hitting back-to-back rails a couple of times to do anything. Lovely drop there, actually dodges, but this time dramiS, as I said, does hit back-to-back rails.
My goodness. Okay. Spit all over the place. The tick coming in. He's losing health, but again, the shotgun's pulled out by rapha on the top ledge. Holding on. Fragging him out. Just at least take a bit of a heavy hit, leaving him low, but he's staying alive. He's still willing to take such a confidence peek into this. dramiS looking more scared of rapha there.
so he should, but relatively even on stack now. Going to trade out. There's a good time before the Mega, but dramiS is going to make a move onto it. Took 4 seconds to make a decision, but he gets bounced up. That's not what he wants. He can't do anything now. He needs to try and get out without taking much damage. Lovely play by rapha in the rail to really finish the job. That was exceptional defensive play.
He was ready with the peak. Had a good read on what was happening. The predictive rocket, big 100. Beautiful connection, just mullers him. dramiS yogurt all over the floor. He has just ruined him. Oh, not again!
Oh.
Daniel! I didn't realise it was February 16th because rapha's making pancakes.
Oh my word, I don't think dramiS got the memo either, as he's lining him up just to be knocked out the park, and he's going to go in aggressive here. He eats a big rocket. That's not what he wanted. You'll just be expecting now rapha to go plus forward, exactly what he does. Realises he misses out on this Mega though. He does take his foot off the pedal for just a second, but he's in position for the heavy. And this is non-stop violent action.
11-7. We're barely over the 5-minute mark as well. And he's whisked this game into something absolutely outrageous. Cheeky peeks coming out from dramiS here, but he's so low, he would have to give it his all to be able to clutch that one out, and he can't. Low on stack, but rapha still survives and gets the Mega off the back of it.
Yeah, the challenge is now that a lot of these... What? No! Okay. And I think rapha's got 50% of his frags from the bull rush alone. It's absolutely insane play. The problem is now that as much as they were trading frags back and forth for the opening 5 minutes, it's really been a 2-to-1 split on frags the last 3 or 4, and dramiS needs to find a way to stop this momentum of rapha. He has got himself a clean frag now, will be able to pick up that Mega, and if he can get the heavy, that's a big lifeline for him. rapha will be slowing down the tempo though, listening out, sneaks himself away. It's a big minute for dramiS here.
He has all the natural tools to at least get himself back into Vale, and potentially get one map out of these 3. He's already dropped 2. A lot of weight on his shoulders. But now it's time to turn it all around. A couple of faces here and there. A few tags. 5 seconds until Mega's up. And he'll make his move towards it. Dropping back down though, expecting the re-aggression from rapha. A near miss on that encounter. Sets himself up on the second angle already. Now finally swooping in to get himself that major item. This is it, Dan. Time starting to be cut very thin. rapha set up on the angle. The bull rush back in. Trying to chase him down, but it doesn't connect this time. The flick rail! It's not enough. Almost hammered home the fact that dramiS wanted to get himself a 9th kill, but instead it's a 14th for rapha. Oh, the rockets!
No, so good for rapha. The damage on the defense every single time. dramiS thinks he's got opportunity. rapha says denied.
Goodness me. rapha, the rapper at this point, as he is dropping sick bars all over dramiS, and his ears cannot take the decibels that are beating him into a pulp. 14-8. Again, the connection's coming back out. dramiS, he has the better stack, but he just doesn't have an edge in the series. He doesn't have much time either. Gliding through the air, both of them firing off some rails, but neither one of them going to actually land. Just crossing the streams.
Oh no, and he misses a rail. You can see the challenge now is that every time he runs at rapha, he's getting met by a significant amount of damage, and not only that, rapha has a healthy stack to work with as well, so the challenge is huge. The defensive positioning from rapha is impeccable time and time again. He will be ticking out here. So that's the start of a comeback, but he's wasted so much time in getting that single solitary frag that it looks nigh on impossible when you take that as a reference point, and boom, he gets boshed again.
Oh man, you're like a Marvel comic, Dan. You've got all the different phrases. I love it. 15th to 9. It's in the bag, isn't it? It's all set in stone. rapha straight back in, not content with what went down, not happy with the fact that he dropped a map, straight back into his second series, returning after that and just runs away with it. dramiS, it's a shame as well. I thought he was a competitor that might be able to put up a big bit of a fight here, but it's just looks so dominant. All 3 of these maps have been a stomping ground for rapha, and it just goes to show Scalebearer is the best champion in the game.
I mean, if I had my way and I ran the QPL, I would just ban all champions, and this would be the default matchup. It's so much fun to watch when you get to see these 2 champions going head to head, particularly on a map like Vale.
No, yeah, it's big, man. It's a huge fight.
But I think like a key learning once again is that speed makes dramiS come alive. If he found a way to hone his game even further and play as fun and as effectively as he does on these fast champions across the board, that's when he becomes mightily scary.
Yeah, it really does. When he gets momentum and speed on his side and he's hitting all of his shots, he is undeniably sick. And really, really quality to watch. It's just hard as well, because no matter who you are, when you go up against rapha, throw any pre-connotations out the window of what skill and what accolades you're bringing into it, because rapha is just the demigod of the game, man. He's the final boss for a reason, Dan.
Yeah, he is, and he's shown it. He's back to form today. Execution on point, decision making on point, champion pickings on point, and he looked a little bit vulnerable at times, but map 1 was just an absolute demolishing. I think that aside, map 2 is very clean. It got a bit tasty in the middle. It was quite tense, but again, you could see just how many levels above rapha is sometimes, and the decision he makes are almost always perfect. And similarly, this map 3, hugely chaotic, but as soon as rapha had the opportunities to take it by the grip of his neck, he did, and there was no looking back for dramiS.
No, not at all. Couple of key moments there. I mean, dramiS, he put up a fight throughout all 3 of the maps, but all in all, rapha just had a field day. The fact that he was able to get so many kills, just sprinting into him, putting his weight into those frags and just leaving him flat on the ground, it's disgusting, Dan.
It was indeed. You can see some of the clutch moments that dramiS pulled out, but every clutch moment he pulled out, rapha responded in kind. So overall, that was an incredibly fun series to watch. Maps 2 and 3 were so good.
Yeah, a lot of explosive moments, some close calls, definitely fun. From an aspect of just being quite a cinematic game of Quake, there was some good moments in there, but from what we kind of expected, again, rapha straight back on top. One singular blip, his first blip in quite some time when he dropped the map against Zeneku, but that seems to be all it was. It doesn't seem like that's turned into any kind of wound. If there was a hole there, he's quickly patched it up with a nice plaster.
Absolutely, as one would expect. He does look to be regaining that old form. I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about the significance of a single map loss drop. So
that's all we can do, though, right? With
I know,
rapha, that's the best we can do.
That's literally the only talking point for him.
It's either that or just saying, yeah, he is unbeatable. He is just the best at the game. Deal with it. Like, he is just sick.
Yeah, mic drop and just, you don't even need to cast his games.
Yeah, literally. Well, you could probably get an AI that just says rapha has won. Well done.
Pretty sure they pre-prepared the whole graphics for the season. It's just more cost efficient.
Just rapha with the belt, going, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, big series, of course. Again, another fun one. It looked like it was going to be fun, and it did live up to it at the end of the day. Now we move on to quite possibly the dark horse of the day in terms of a game that could go either way. I think this could be really, really sick. It was the game that I picked out as the one I'm most excited for. We get Maxter taking on Chain. So entire different kettle of fish from what we just saw. This could be a really close bout. Please stick around for this one. It's going to be sick no matter who you're rooting for. Maxter versus Chain will be up when we're back after the break.